At the beginning of the movie, we see the year 2014, where humanity has damaged the planet's atmosphere and triggered global warming. To solve this crisis, scientists create an artificial cooling substance and release it into the air. While it successfully reduces the heat, it also unintentionally brings about a new ice age across the planet. Luckily, a brilliant scientist named Wilford constructs a train powered by a perpetual engine, designed to travel endlessly around the world. The last surviving humans now live inside this train, since anyone who dares to step outside instantly freezes to death. Sadly, class division also exists in this society, with the front of the train reserved for the upper classes, the middle for the economy class, and the poor forced into the tail section. 17 years later, guards distribute food to the poor, which turns out to be disgusting protein blocks. Everyone must sit to receive their share, but Curtis refuses until a guard threatens to shoot him. Curtis then tells his friend Edgar that he's been counting the doors because he's planning an escape through the train. The guards ask if any skilled violinists are among them, and an elderly couple volunteer, explaining they once played in the Boston Symphony Orchestra. The guards try to take only Gerald, since one violinist is enough, but Gerald insists on going with his wife. In response, the guards beat the woman and break her hand before dragging Gerald away. Afterward, Curtis visits Tanya and her son Timmy to ask the boy to trade protein blocks. When Curtis cuts open his block, he discovers a capsule inside containing a hidden message, which he brings to Gilliam, an elderly one-armed man who sits beside a Wilford logo on the wall. The message says Nam, referring to a security expert in the prison section. Curtis wants to find him to help with their revolution, and Gilliam helps him plan the route forward. Later that night, while the tail passengers are sleeping, guards arrive with Wilford's assistant Claude, who begins measuring all the children with a tape. Claude then approaches Tanya, lifts her skirt, and discovers Timmy hiding beneath it. Timmy tries to escape as his mother screams, but the guards catch him and beat Tanya to silence her. After finishing their measurements, Claude takes Timmy and also Andrew's son, Andy. A heartbroken Andrew, overwhelmed, throws a shoe at Claude, and the guards immediately seize him. Soon, young Franco and old Franco place a clock around Andrew's neck and force his arm through a hole in the wall, exposing it to sub-zero temperatures. Andrew screams in agony as the cold eats into his skin. Then, Minister Mason arrives to scold the passengers for their unruly behavior with a lengthy speech. She balances the throne shoe on Andrew's head, declaring that life on the train must follow strict order. Mason attempts to contact Wilford on the phone to let him address the passengers, but he doesn't respond. Meanwhile, the Francos pull Andrew's arm back inside, now entirely frozen, and smash it with a giant hammer as punishment. Over the next few days, the tail passengers secretly work on building a device to aid their revolution. Curtis also secures some chronole, a waste product used by addicts for a high, which is also highly flammable. He can't stop thinking about Mason's earlier comment about the guards' useless guns, which makes him suspect they ran out of bullets during the last revolt. While the passengers prepare, the group's artist sketches key events, gifting Andrew and Tanya portraits of their children. One day, the alarm sounds and everyone lines up for the guards. Their device is finally complete, so as a distraction, they protest loudly about the protein blocks. A guard grabs an old man and threatens to shoot him, but Curtis steps forward and forces the guard to aim the gun at his own head. When the guard pulls the trigger, nothing happens, confirming Curtis's theory. Edgar shouts that the guns are empty, and chaos erupts. The passengers unveil their creation, a massive rolling machine built from pipes, which they push forward into the next compartments, while Curtis rides on top. A massive fight breaks out between the guards and the rebels, but since the guns are useless, the rebels quickly overpower them. Suddenly, a huge guard tries to block their way, but Gray leaps on him and swiftly kills him, stealing his keys in the process. After that, the rebels make it to the prison car with ease, where the cells are compartments built into the walls. Using the keys, they manage to free the security expert Nam, who appears dazed because of his addiction. After taking a translating device from the wall, Curtis explains that he needs Nam's help to unlock the doors of the next cars and that he's willing to pay him with chronole. While thinking it over, Nam smokes a cigarette, shocking everyone because cigarettes haven't existed for over 10 years. Little Chen takes the chance to steal Nam's matches. After a moment, Nam tosses the cigarette away, sparking a scuffle as everyone fights for it, though Nam also joins the brawl until Curtis drags him out. Nam then reveals he grabbed more keys and uses them to open another compartment. She, too, is an addict. Curtis accepts the deal, and Nam begins working on the wires of the first door. After Yona warns that there's nobody on the other side, Nam opens it, and the group confirms the room is empty. Someone opens the windows, and for the first time in nearly 2 decades, everyone sees sunlight again. The outside world is completely covered in snow, with every city frozen solid. Nam moves on to the next door, but right before opening it, Yona suddenly says he's running. The group is startled to see Paul, an old member of their group, bouncing around like a lunatic. He wasn't always like this, but they soon realize he's been stuck here operating the protein block machines alone, which drove him insane. Curtis looks inside the machinery and is horrified to learn that the protein blocks are made from cockroaches. Suddenly, Curtis finds another capsule on the ground and asks Paul about it, but Paul says he doesn't know who sends them, he just puts them in the food. Gilliam opens the capsule and finds the word water, and Paul explains the water supply is located a few cars up. If the rebels control the water, they control negotiations. While Nam keeps working on the next door, Curtis talks with Yona and learns she was born on the train. Curtis himself came from the outside, but he doesn't remember anything from before. Curtis also wonders if Yona is clairvoyant, and right then, she stares at the door and shouts, "Don't open it." But it's already too late. The door slides open, revealing a room full of masked men wielding axes. As intimidation, the men display a fish and cut it open. The rebels, however, charge forward without hesitation, sparking a brutal battle. Both sides lose people quickly, blood splattering everywhere as they hack at each other mercilessly. Curtis and Edgar push through the crowd while killing many masked men, but Curtis suddenly slips on the fish. One man tries to kill him, but Edgar saves him at the last second. At the far end of the car, even more masked men and guards wait, announcing that they're about to cross a bridge. They begin counting down, and when the train hits the bridge, they shout Happy New Year. But since the last crossing, the train shakes violently as it smashes through them, knocking everyone to the floor except Nam and Yona, who stare out the window at the cliffs below. Eventually, a guard declares the bridge has been crossed and both sides get back to fighting. Their battle is interrupted when Mason and the Francos arrive. Mason berates the rebels for being ungrateful for the food and shelter Wilford has provided, warning that 74% of them will be killed. Enraged, Curtis hurls an axe at her, but it's blocked. Mason then raises a pair of binoculars while her men put on special masks. Yona explains to Curtis that a long tunnel is coming up. Once the train enters, the car goes completely dark, but the guards can still see thanks to their masks. The rebels are quickly slaughtered, one by one, while Mason gleefully watches as if enjoying a theater play. As the massacre continues, Curtis suddenly remembers something and yells for Shan to start a fire. Shan uses the stolen matches to light a torch. Then he and Andrew lead a group of rebels carrying torches into the darkness. With fire illuminating the car, the rebels regain the advantage, and Gray captures an officer, threatening to kill him if the enemy doesn't yield. Mason doesn't care about a low-ranking worker, so Gray kills him and continues fighting, hurling a knife that stabs Mason in the leg. Curtis sees his chance and rushes toward Mason, but at the same moment, for a split second, Curtis hesitates, torn between saving his friend and the revolution. In the end, he chooses the greater cause, captures Mason, and watches helplessly as Franco kills Edgar. As soon as Curtis seizes Mason, she orders everyone to stop fighting. Young Franco tries to attack Curtis, but Yona jumps out of hiding and impales him with a metal rod. After the group captures old Franco, they move to the next car, where they wash the blood off using the running water. Tanya and Andrew rough Mason up to make her talk, but Mason only admits that the children are taken directly to Wilford. Curtis then threatens her by saying he can cut off the water supply. Mason laughs, explaining that the water actually comes from the front of the train. It's produced from the snow and ice broken apart as the train moves forward. Curtis is ready to kill her, but Mason convinces him to keep her alive by claiming she can guarantee safe passage. That night, the group rests, but Curtis and Gilliam stay awake to discuss their next move. The following morning, Curtis leaves with Andrew, Tanya, Nam, Gray, and Yona, keeping Mason handcuffed and at the front. Their first stop is a greenhouse where fruits and vegetables are grown for the upper class. Nam gives Yona a handful of dirt, since she has never touched soil before, and she reacts with surprise at the worms wriggling in it. The next car is a giant aquarium, where Mason suggests the group have sushi. But Curtis stops her and instead makes her eat a protein block, smirking as she realizes exactly what it's made of. After they pass through the butcher's car, they enter a classroom full of noisy children. Tanya and Andrew immediately ask about their kids using the drawings they carry. The teacher then plays a propaganda video, teaching the kids that Wilford is their merciful savior. The children cheer joyfully for him. The teacher continues, picking up an instrument and singing a song about how everyone will freeze and die if the train ever stops. As this lesson plays out, the train passes a snowy landscape where, 15 years earlier, 7 people tried to escape. At that moment, a man enters with a cart of warm New Year's eggs. Curtis, hidden inside one of the eggs. The message inside reads blood. When the cartman pushes the cart into the next car, he and the teacher suddenly pull guns from the egg piles and open fire. Everyone ducks for cover, but Andrew is killed by the teacher before Gray takes her down with a knife. Mason also tries to shoot Curtis, but he kicks the gun away right as a live broadcast appears on the classroom's television. Curtis takes his revenge by killing Mason. The group pushes on, passing through several cars filled with the wealthy enjoying services like doctors, tailors, and beauty salons. As they move through the dining car, Franco notices the train is curving, which aligns his car with theirs. He immediately opens fire, and Curtis shoots back, though neither of them lands a hit. They continue shooting until both run out of bullets. While reloading, Nam notices a snowflake drift in through a bullet hole, which he considers an important clue. Franco and Curtis fire once more, but realizing it's pointless, they both move forward. The group next passes through a spa before reaching a sauna, where they hide in the stalls. Franco and 2 guards soon catch up. Franco opens one stall and kills a wealthy passenger, then shoots one of the guards who dares to criticize him. Gray ambushes the other guard and stabs Franco in the shoulder, triggering a brutal fight. Curtis tries to shoot Franco, but can't aim without hitting Gray. When Franco knocks Gray unconscious, Curtis finally gets a shot. Tanya attacks Franco as well, but he shoots her down. Curtis then engages Franco in hand-to-hand combat, but after a fierce struggle, Franco overpowers him and knocks him out. Franco prepares to stab Curtis, but Gray recovers and intervenes. This time, however, Franco quickly kills him by stabbing him in the chest. When Franco opens another stall, he finds Nam hiding behind a woman and lunges at him, starting yet another fight. Nam manages to push Franco down and strangle him, while Yona emerges to grab a knife ready to finish him off. But Nam stops her, not wanting her to kill. He drops the knife, which Curtis, regaining consciousness, grabs to stab Franco in the side. Curtis then rushes to Tanya, who is dying. She asks to see Timmy's drawing one last time before passing away. Curtis, Nam, and Yona push forward through cars filled with addicts and wild parties before reaching Wilford's vault. Yona collapses drunk, and Curtis fights with Nam, who finally calms him down by offering the last cigarette. Curtis then reveals his dark past, how the tail section once resorted to cannibalism, and how Gilliam saved baby Edgar by sacrificing his arm. Nam confesses his plan. He's been saving Crenol to build a bomb and believes the ice is melting outside. But before he can act, Claude arrives, shoots him, and drags Curtis to meet Wilford. Inside, Wilford explains the grim truth: he and Gilliam conspired to orchestrate uprisings to control population. To maintain balance, he orders the massacre of tail passengers, sparing only 18 survivors. Meanwhile, Nam and Yona fight off attackers while Franco relentlessly pursues them. Yona eventually discovers that Timmy has been forced to work inside the engine as a living part. Furious, Curtis attacks Wilford, sacrifices his arm to stop the gears, and frees the boy. Nam detonates the Crenol, blowing open the train, but the explosion triggers an avalanche that destroys it. In the aftermath, Yona and Timmy regain consciousness inside a wrecked car surrounded by flames and corpses. Wrapping themselves in the stolen furs, they step out into the snow. To their amazement, they spot a polar bear in the distance, living proof that the world is thawing and they can survive outside.